The man awakened a strange and useless skill. Except for making him hungry, it seemed to have no effect at all. But one day, after he killed a thief, the skill that he thought was useless suddenly changed. His stats increased sharply, and he gained the skills of appraisal and mind reading. At the same time, his hunger disappeared. It turned out that his gluttony skill was not about eating in the literal sense, but rather about devouring the souls of the enemies he defeated, and taking their skills and stats. That also meant that from this day on, his life would completely change. In this world where the strength of one's skill determines everything, Jack had always been forced to live at the bottom. Not only was his gluttony skill useless, its side effect of constant hunger made life even harder. After much struggle, he finally found a job as a city gate guard, but the high-ranking nobles disliked him, and every time they saw him, they made sure to humiliate him. Although he was angry, Jack could only endure. The paladins of this world were people he could not afford to offend. However, there was one exception. A girl who showed him kindness and told him to come to her if he ever got into trouble. But Jack didn't dare to accept her offer, because that would only make things worse for him. The look in the leader's eyes was enough of a warning. After switching shifts with Raquez, Jack went to a restaurant to have a meal. The owner kindly warned him that if he kept going like this, he would end up like the previous guard. Apparently, the three paladins already had a terrible reputation in the city. Before Jack, several guards had already died because of them. But Jack had no choice. Without this job, he would starve to death. His gluttony skill had locked him into this path. All jobs in this world required a matching skill. If he went out to hunt monsters, he would just get killed instead. While he was lost in thought, he suddenly noticed a figure on the city wall. He suspected a thief had sneaked in, so he quickly reported it to Raquez. If something went wrong, Jack would be the one blamed for being on duty. The report immediately drew Rokus's attention. As a paladin, he was confident he could handle it, so he told Jack to stay and keep watch. About 2.5 minutes later, Jack heard the scream of a thief. Just when he thought it was all over, another thief suddenly appeared before him. It seemed Raquez had missed one. Jack's first instinct was to run, but then he remembered it was Rokus's shift that night. If something happened, Raquez would be punished, so Jack hesitated. The thief had already lost one arm, so Jack gritted his teeth and decided to fight. Fortunately, nothing went wrong. Jack killed the thief successfully, but the moment he did, a system sound echoed in his mind. The gluttony skill had activated, his stats had increased again, and two new skills, appraisal and mind reading, were added. While Jack was still confused, Raquez came back. When he saw the thief's body, he panicked.
大丈夫ですか？怪我はありませんか？なんだか顔色が悪い。心配だわ。どうかしましたか？
今一瞬、ロキシー様の心の声が聞こえたような気がしたんだけど。
At first, Jack thought he was imagining it, but later, when he went home, he realized it was just like what he saw on his panel, the effect of mind reading. But that was strange. People were only supposed to be born with one skill. Still, if his stats had increased, that meant he could finally go out and hunt monsters for money. The next morning, he went to a weapon shop, but when the merchant saw Jack only had 2 silver coins, he was stunned. That kind of money could only buy rusty scrap metal. Yet that was the savings Jack had accumulated over 5 years. He figured it was still better than going unarmed. He picked up a sword and used appraisal. Its durability and attack power were both 0. Jack didn't lose hope. He patiently appraised each weapon one by one. Finally, he came to the last sword. Just when he thought it would also be trash, the sword suddenly spoke. The merchant didn't seem to hear it, so Jack quickly used appraisal again.
グリード、片手剣。
決して損はさせない。俺様を買え暴食。
なんで知ってるんだ